Ladies and gentlemen, I'm asking you guys for a cookie crumb favor, which is I need you to watch, like, and subscribe to my channel because this helps me to help you. And in the end, we both benefit. So if you guys can do that, I will greatly, greatly appreciate it. Now, with that being said, let's move on to today's topic. Zach Cregger. Zach Cregger is on fire right now. He is the go-to man in Hollywood. And I mean by the go-to man, meaning that studios and producers are going to him saying, hey, we want to work with you. We want to do a project with you. What you got going on? Whatever you got going on, we want to be a part of it. And the reason for this is that this is the same gentleman that brought us Barbarian, Weapons. Now he's working on Resident Evil. But he's come across a problem. And I know some of y'all going, if the guy's the hottest thing in Hollywood, why is he coming across problems? Yeah, and that's true. But he's came across a problem. And the name of his problem is called Netflix. And the reason why is that he has a project that he's completed called The Flood. He wrote the script for it, everything is ready to go. And Netflix, one of the executives came to him and said, hey, we want to be in business with you. We want to do some projects with you. What you got going on? He's like, hey, I got this movie called The Flood. You know, this is what this is about, blah, 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 blah. So the Netflix exec was like, yeah, cool, let's do it. But Zach was very clear with him and said, hey, the only way I will work with you guys if my movie gets a theatrical window. Without that, we have no deal. And the guy said, okay, cool. I don't see why that'd be a problem and whatever. So he goes back to his boss and tells his boss, say, hey, Zach is willing to work with us, but his movie needs a theatrical window. So the CEO of Netflix was like, nope, we're not doing that. We're not doing theatrical movies here. We do streaming. Well, you all know what Zach's response for that was. Now, I'm going to give you my points on why I agree with Zach Cregger in this and why this is something that's continuing to hurt Netflix. I'm going to start with Netflix. Netflix, I love Netflix. I've been a Netflix subscriber from day one. But the biggest problem that they have is the original series, the documentaries are great. But for some reason, when they do their movies suck. And they spend a lot of money on content and they spend a lot of money behind these movies. But for some reason, the movies suck and they just can't, and they're not even putting them in the theaters. And this has been an ongoing problem for Netflix because a lot of high profile, really talented directors have left Netflix or refused to work with them because they like, hey, you guys are doing straight streaming. And I'm not knocking you for that, but I want my movies to have theatrical windows. And there's nothing wrong with that. So now, here we go again with Netflix about to have another high profile director. One of the top directors in the game right now is like, hey, I'm walking away from y'all too. And remember, Netflix is the same studio that's in the bidding war to buy Warner Brothers. And to me, like I said, I love Netflix, but I would not want Netflix to get Warner Brothers because then that means everything. That means we're not getting any more Batman movies going to the theater. We're not going to have any DC, anything just going to the out of DC that we love is not going to the theaters, and that's going to piss a lot of people off. And I'm pretty sure it's going to piss Matt Reeves off because let's just say if Netflix did buy Warner Brothers, then that means the Batman 2 and 3, we're not going to get those in theaters. And that's going to piss a lot of people off. So Netflix, even though they do streaming, but I would say that if they want to grow, they're going to have to fix their original films department and start putting some of their films in the theater. Now with Zach Cregger, I side with Zach Cregger on this 1000% because he's the hottest guy in the industry right now. All of his movies have seen and had success at the theaters. So yeah, he's just like, hey, the theaters is where audience go to see my projects. The theaters is where I make my money, and that's what I'm going to stay with. So it makes no sense for him to release something on streaming when everybody's going to the theaters to see his project. So yeah, good for him to say, well, if it's not going to go this way, then I'm out. So looking at both sides here, Netflix is going to continue to have these problems unless they start going to the theaters. Now, it's not saying that all their movies have to go to theaters, but with certain projects, with certain people, yeah. Because if you look at it, that if you get that theatrical, say like you put a movie, let's say like if he was to work with them and they say, yeah, we'll give it a theatrical run. Let's just say the movie is like a $30 million budget, but on the theaters, it winds up making like 300 some million, 300 plus million. Now, what that does is that for people who probably didn't get a chance to go to the theater, or for the people who like, hey, I don't go to the movies like that, I'd rather for it come on streaming. Now, with all the hype and the buzz, it's going to send people, the streaming people are going to tune in to watch it, and then they're going to tell everybody else to tune in to watch it. So you're making double profit there. But, hey, Netflix is going to do what they're going to do. And I side with Zach Cregger on this 1000%. But Netflix going into these next few years, they're going to have to up their game. They're going to have to. But, hey, some people are just stubborn and want to stay in their place. So I'll keep you guys, in tune with this. But do you feel that Zach Cregger was right about this? Do you feel that Netflix need to stop being so stubborn and budge? Let me know. Stay tuned.